who wrote that I was her role model. Because I was really curious of who her real role model was. She was really excited when I told her this would type exactly what she said. Okay? So her very first dictation into this iPod was, my favorite role model is Selena Gomez. Okay? And now I thought, okay, I'm on to something. We're getting somewhere now. Okay? So I realized I was onto something, and the students were very eager to write with this new tool. So suddenly, I'm listening to them dictate their dreams and ideas into this iPod. Whereas before, if I had just relied on what they had written on paper, I never would have gotten the real picture. Now, unfortunately, their excitement tapered off a little bit, but the app did not really work accurately. So my advice for the app is don't waste your time. I know some people have had experience with it, and I think it works better for adults than for students. But my experience was that it was more frustrating than helpful for them.
Yep.
It had limited success, that's what we'll say. Okay, the speed lagged if the wireless connectivity became weak. The accuracy was really poor, especially for the young students, and there was no ability to create user profiles so the computer could adapt to your voice, which the software does have, which I'll get into later, and it's very inconsistent. So while the kids were really excited about it at first because they understood the potential, they quickly got frustrated with it. Okay, so now this is where the iChip grant comes in. Okay, I spoke with the customer service rep from Nuance Communication, and he explained to me that the software was more accurate and efficient than the app, and I could get a 5-license lab pack for $795. So thanks to the grant, I was able to do that. This is just a timeline of what it looked like from the time I submitted the application, all the little steps in between there. It took about 6 months, like from the time I applied for the grant, to actually get software up and running on the laptops. So the students had about 1.5 months to try out the software before the end of the school year. I really wanted to have more time, but that's what happened. Who is this technology for? I only really tried it for that short time with 5 students. But some ideas would be students with poor visual motor integration. This is kids who have difficulty copying from board to book, difficulty with spacing, students with dysgraphia, inability to form letters, ADHD. Okay, dictation is much faster than writing or typing. It's about 9 times faster, I understand. So if you've got a limited window of attention to work in, you can get a lot better results in that time. I didn't try it with students with physical disabilities, but it would certainly be appropriate for them. Emotional disabilities. I've worked with students with that in the past. They have a really low tolerance for frustration. Writing is a very frustrating, as you experienced, it can be very frustrating. And a lot of times these kids will just shut down, or they'll start doing all these avoidance behaviors, anything to get out of doing this writing assignment. I put a question next to ELL students. I did have an ELL student in this group that was just in my reading intervention, and she wrote this beautiful piece comparing Mexico to the USA. And it was amazing. And maybe she would eventually learn to write that out the normal way, but that's maybe another avenue that could be explored. I found out that when I started with email, it was very highly motivating for them. And so even though there was a little bit of learning curve with the software, it was this immediate feedback of being able to do this email and then immediately send it on their Google Drive to a friend and then hear back from them. I was really amazed by what they shared with each other. It was just like suddenly this ability for them to communicate had been unlocked. It was really amazing. And it's students' social communication because it's fast and convenient, and you know what? If they make an error or a typo, it does not matter. They will fit in with everybody else out there on social media. It's not gonna separate them out or make them appear like they don't know what they're doing. For formal writing, I found out that it worked really well. We needed to start with an outline. A lot of times I would just have them cut and paste to do the organization piece of it, but to do formal writing, they really had to have something there to go on. It's really hard to just compose an entire formal piece of writing in your head and then get it out. This is just another example of an outline. This student actually, as she did each piece, she checked it off because, as I think someone said, It's easy to lose your place if you're not sure where you left off. She actually checked off each one as she dictated the sentence into the software. The editing piece of it, composing is much easier. It's easier to get those thoughts to flow right down on there, but editing gets more complex. There's a playback feature on Dragon Dictation where they can highlight what they want to hear back and play it, and then sometimes when they listen to it, they can catch a mistake, a missing word, you know, some verb agreement mistake. They can catch it and fix it right there. There's also a lot of commands you can use. There's, for instance, scratch that if you make mistakes, spell that if it's a proper name that maybe the